It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Professor Meir Wilchek. We're here in the Glassman Institute in Rehovot. And Prof, I read the most amazing thing about you. When you were in Bar Ilan in the 50s, you overheard a mother yelling in the street to her young son. And she said, if you don't go to school, because you were on your bicycle around delivering newspapers, she said, if you don't go to school, you'll end up like him. Little did this lady know that that boy could have done much worse. You became a world-class scientist, a inventor of methods that are used today around the globe, and you are a professor at Weizmann Institute of Science. You're a member of the Israel Academy of Science and a member of the Institute of Medicine and National Academy in the States.
Yeah, it's now National Academy of Medicine.
In the United States.
Yeah.
And the awards and the honors, they are so numerous, but I'm just going to mention three. In '87 you got the Wolf Prize, and in 1990 the Israel Prize, and in 2005 the Emet Prize, which was presented by the Prime Minister of Israel. And you had a very close connection with Professor Ephraim Katzir.
Yeah, he was my teacher.
And he became President of the State of Israel.
Yeah.
So, Prof, could you tell us a little bit about, I know you were born in Warsaw in 1935, but could you tell us a little bit about your family? You came from illustrious, your father's side were Rabbonim in Poland.
Yeah, my family, my father was living in Warsaw, and his father was a rabbi in Warsaw, and he was a how you say this, frustrated rabbi, because he was used to sign. He was a rabbi in a small portion of Warsaw, but he used to sign the rabbi from Warsaw. They asked him what, so he wanted to be the rabbi of Warsaw, but he couldn't. Didn't make it anyway. He was but my father was also a rabbi, and my father's sister married a Rabbi Simson Stockhammer.
And you have a picture of your father?
Yeah, from my father from the train, from the tramway in Warsaw. An interesting story about our family. Janusz Korczak, when he was young, a student, he was living in my grandparents' house, and he was teaching children there.
In Warsaw?
In Warsaw, yeah. And this was around in the 1910 or 15, something like that. I don't remember. So as I said, my father married my mother. She was from Ostrov Mazowiecki, and since the rabbis were not paid very much, so they couldn't afford an apartment in Warsaw. So my mother rented an apartment in Ostrov Mazowiecki together with her with our grandparents, and my father used to come every Friday home from Warsaw because he was working in the Jewish community in Warsaw there. So I was born in 1935, in October 1935, and in September 1st, the German conquered, the Ostrov Mazowiecki was the first city the German conquered, and the same day they killed 30 Jews. The same day, and then they allowed all the Jews to leave Ostrov Mazowiecki to go to Kolne, another city there, but it was occupied by the Russians, because the Russians and Germans, and my father was in Warsaw when they conquered Ostrov Mazowiecki, and he and his friend, was named Goodgold, was also from Ostrov Mazowiecki, they decided to go with the last bus to go back from Warsaw to Ostro-Mazowiec to come to the family. But my father couldn't make it to the bus because he wanted to say goodbye to his mother. His mother was an almone. My grandfather died already in 1927. So he missed the bus and he couldn't come. So about most of the Jews from Ostro-Mazowiec left to Köln, but 600 Jews remained in Ostro-Mazowiec, and my mother was with them, with me and my sister. Because she was thinking that after the war will end, so that we will be able to travel to Warsaw or he will come to us. But this was never possible. And why did my mother not live this? Because the Volvo first, Ostro-Mazowiec was also occupied by the Germans, but they behaved very nice to the Jews.
In the beginning?
In 1919.
In the First World War.
First World War. So she was sure that they will be the same also here. But then in November, the Germans said that if the Jews will not live, they're going to kill all of them. And so my mother took me and my sister from Ostro-Mazowiec and went about 8 kilometers to pass to the Russian occupied zone, and the other 600 Jews were put in some place and were put on fire and killed. All of them were killed, all the 6 in November. But as I said, my mother decided to leave. But when we arrived to the Russian zone, my mother didn't want to take a Russian passport. She said, because my husband is in Warsaw and I would like to go back to Warsaw. Because there was a possibility from the Russian zone to go to Warsaw, but not from Ostro-Mazowiec to Warsaw. The Jews couldn't go, but there was no problem, the Jews. But when my mother tried to take us to Warsaw, we were stopped by a Russian woman, a Russian commissar, and she told my mother, don't go because you take a passport and don't go. My mother said, no, I don't want to take a passport. So she said, pity on the children, take a passport. She said, no, I want to go to Warsaw. So she said, why do you want to go to Warsaw? Because said, my husband is there. So she said, you are a beautiful woman, you find another man. She said, but be happy, on the children, be happy, how you say, to save the children. So that my mother didn't want. And when the war broke out between the Russian and the German, we were put in a train, but not a regular train. How is it? A train of cows and so on.
Like a cattle truck.
Cattle trucks, and we were sent to Siberia because we are traitors, and because we wanted to go to the German side. So they sent us to the Siberia. We were 3 months traveling with the train. We stopped some places. The only thing we used to is to drink the hot water from the train machine. This was we got sometime bread, and we arrived after 3 months to Arkhangelsk, and then they put us on the ship and shipped us about 400 kilometers north of Arkhangelsk, about 400, and then it was very cold there.
And you remember?
This I remember. This I remember, yeah. And so they start to work. My mother they start to work on cutting trees, and ship the trees to somewhere, I don't know where they used to ship the trees. And the children were allowed to go to school, but until -40. After 40, we were not allowed to go. It was very difficult for my mother to do this work. And one day we were in this barrack. We were in the barrack, and I jumped on a chair, and my mother was hit by in the leg. And she, of course, she was very angry on me and so on, but she went to the doctor and he gave her 3-day vacation. He was a Jewish doctor, yeah. She gave a 3-day vacation, so after 3 days she cut it again, and she got another. It took her about a month, but then the doctor said, I cannot give you more. So he gave her easy work. What the easy work was to clean the closets. And the closet was frozen, it was outside. So these days they used to call it, but I helped my mother to clean that. So this is the way I really saved my mother. If not, she would. It was very terrible. Many people died there every day because it was a minus fault to cut trees and so on. So after about a year or two, I don't remember exactly, Russia signed an agreement with Poland, and all the Polish citizens were allowed to travel in Russia. So we traveled to Uzbekistan because we wanted to go to Persia, and from there to go to Israel, to Palestine. Yeah, that's okay. But we came to what's name, Tashkent and so on, and then we from time to time we were again traveling about 3 months on trains, and we were lucky because in Russia there was in one place that we had salt, but in the other place they didn't have salt, but they have sugar. So we could collect the salt and sell it there and buy sugar. It was terrible, but very interesting because every place something they didn't have. So we used this way. We survived until we arrived to Tashkent, and then we went to the sent us to a kolkhoz. My mother was working in agriculture there, but after a while, the kolkhoz said, we don't want people, we don't need more, and they sent us to Kyrgyzstan, to a place named Osh, Naukat, or a small town named Naukat. And there my mother learned how to sew. So she sewed kopaikas. Kopaikas is what's named it? The Russian army was wearing it. They call it kopaikas, but we are wearing it today, winter. So she was working to make these kopaikas for the Russian army, and so we were working there. She was working there. She again suddenly became very sick, and she was put in there was no hospital, there was a barrack with about few people. And the doctors told me that if we will not get some milk or some other things, she will die because there's not much food there. So I was going around and collecting from the Kyrgyz and the Uzbeks some milk and so other. But on the way to the hospital, I had to fight with many children. They wanted to take it away. So when I arrived to my mother, she asked me, "But who give you the stretchers?" I said, I brought you the milk, and they wanted to take it away from me. But this was the second time that I saved my mother, because every day I brought her some food, something, and so this was this was the place that my mother was quite happy with the work. At that time, they tried to take the Jewish children to Israel, to Palestine, to Iran, Menachem Begin with the Polish army, the Yaldei Tehran. But he didn't want to take me and my sister because we had a mother. If you had a father, they took it. But if you have a mother, they didn't take. They didn't want to take us. So we remained there in Naukat. And I was every morning during the summer, every morning around 5 o'clock, winter also, mostly summer, I was going after the cows and collecting their also their how you say this, hara?
It's the teats.
Yeah, when they lift up their tail, I was coming with that to Paul because this was our thing to use it in winter to heat the house. So what we did, after I collected it, I was again fighting with many people trying to get this, because this was only, and then we used to mix it with some sand, making a pretzel and put it on a ball and dry it, and this was our to keep us warm in winter. so this was my experience. This is the reason why I later developed newspaper, because there was no problem for me not to sleep. so then after so this was the most of the time. For example, I used to play chess, and there was an Armenian boy that he also was playing with me. But they were very rich. So I learned that if I win the game, I don't get any food. If I lose the game, they gave me bread, and so I used to. I learned immediately that I have to lose, and I lost. And they used to give me a piece of bread, and I divided it in half to my sister, half to me. So this was I used to play with him chess, and so and this which I remember. And then in 1945, when the war was over, we started to prepare ourselves to go back to Warsaw, to Poland.
Can I ask, and during this time, did you know what had happened to your father?
No, the interesting thing, my mother went to a gypsy, and the gypsy told us that your father is still alive. But when the war was over, she said, your father is not alive more. I don't know this gypsy. She old with coffee or something. I don't know something.
A fortune teller.
Yeah, fortune teller. She used to tell my mother that your husband is still alive. He's still alive. And the interesting thing is that I met people from my father's camp for Flossenburg, and they said that my father was very happy because he said my children and my wife are safe. They're in Russia, and he was very much enthusiastic and showed very hope that we are still alive, and so.
So, Prof, your father, when he tried to escape, he was taken to Plaszow.
Yeah, not to escape. He was in ghetto Warsaw, and then after the uprising, he was sent to Plaszow, and from Plaszow
So he was involved in the underground?
Yeah, because the Rav Shippenstocker also supported this. They wanted, both of them are supported the war. They said we should fight, they start to fight too late, because they were left only 25,000 people. It was 500,000. So and Mordechai Nilevich, as you can see there, so they could fight much more. Before.
And your father knew him?
Of course, but I hope so. I don't know, but my father's brother, but his name was Ben Zion, when they took him to Treblinka, on the way to the train, near the train station, he started to go slow and catch a German soldier, take his Schmeisser and killed him. And then they killed him, the Germans, and they left his body 3 days in the train station to show the Jews what happens if you are resisting. So this was people told me. I'm not people that were in Warsaw and was still alive.
So your father was involved in the Warsaw Ghetto uprising?
Yeah, but I think he more supported military, maybe not fighting, because the ones that fight were killed. So maybe but he was sent to Warsaw, to Plaszow from there in August 1943, and then in August 44, he was sent to Flossenburg to work on aeroplanes, to repair aeroplanes and so on.
I think you have a document that the Germans kept.
Yeah. As I told you, the 2,700%, but 2,699 arrived and they arrived exactly.
This is a picture of the...
Rav Shimshon Stockerman. He was one of the 6 chief rabbis from Warsaw. He was married to my father's sister.
And what happened? Do you know the fate of what happened to him?
He was killed by an American attack in 1945. In May 6, 1945, they put all the people from Flossenburg on a train to go into Germany, from Flossenburg to go somewhere else. And each wagon had a German soldier. American airplanes were saw this, and they attacked it and killed 146 Jews. And between them was Rav Shimshon Stockerman. He was killed in May 6, 1949. His family was already killed in 1941.
So just before the end of the war?
He was finished the war, yeah.
So these are, you have a list of...
Yeah, this is the list of people that arrived from Pleschow to Flossenburg.
And your father's name is on the list?
Yeah, my father's name was on the list, and said it showed a cross that he died.
I think it's the list, yeah.
Wilchek laser.
They put a cross to show
that he was died. He was killed.
Because he had a fever.
Yeah, and so they decided to kill him.
And this was literally
2 weeks before the
end of the war.
The camp took over. The American took over the camp in 2 weeks. But most of them survived. You see, only a few. They killed the one that, and then they burned them. And I asked where is he buried? So they said no. They showed me a pyramid. They said this is the ashes from the people that were killed and burned.
In Flossenburg.
In Flossenburg, they made a pyramid of the.
It's amazing that they kept all the documents.
Yeah.
They were so meticulous with their documents.
Yeah.
And then this is, on the day of liberation, you have a picture of the camp?
Yeah, the day of liberation of this. Yeah, this.
And they made the Germans, civilians, they were forced to see what they had done? Not
in Flossenburg. In Flossenburg they didn't show it. Because most of them were already sent out in this train took them to... But the ashes, they decided to make a pyramid. The American forced them to collect the ashes of the people and to make a...
And what happened to your father's mother?
She was killed already to Treblinka. All the family were taken to Treblinka. All the ships and Stockholmers, wife and 4 children were taken in 1941 or 42 already to Treblinka and killed, yeah. But the Warsaw, most of the people of Warsaw, the Jews of Warsaw, were killed in Treblinka. Treblinka, they were killed about 1.1 million people. So this is the... And then we came to back from Russia, and we traveled back to Poland.
And this was when the war had ended?
Ended, yeah, and went back to Poland. And we arrived to Breslau, which is Wrocław now in Poland. And we wanted to go down, and the Polish people didn't allow the Jews to go down. And they were already occupied by Polish people, the Breslau. So the train continued to
Do you remember trying to leave the train?
Yeah, of course. They didn't allow us.
How did they
They didn't allow us just to go down. So they took us to Stettin. Stettin, there still were no Poland yet. So they let us to go down. And we came to Stettin, and we were sitting there living in Stettin about a year, almost a year. And then my mother decided to try to go back to Warsaw to see if someone survived. So when she arrived she went with the train, and that time, but there was the Kelsa pogrom.
When the Jews came back to Kielce, they were killed.
Yeah, and my mother was on the train, and some Polish fellow saw her and told her, Jidówka is Jewish people, Jidówka, go down because otherwise they will kill you. So she went down, and 3 months we didn't know about her. She went to Warsaw somehow, and she didn't find anyone, then to Ostrov Mazovets. And then Ostrov Mazovets, they told her that 22 Jewish boys were in the partisan in the forest in Ostrov Mazovets. They came back after the war, and the Polish killed all of them, all the 22, because they went to their houses and they killed them. So this was the Polish people which...
And for those 3 months, you and your sister didn't know...
When the Kelce program came, the Sochnut took all the children and transferred us to Berlin. So we were without our mother 3 months, and suddenly showed up in Berlin after 3 months.
It must have been such an emotional reunion.
Yeah, because we didn't know where she is. We were with some people, with a family named Zuchman. They took us with them.
And you were only 10 years old?
I was 10 years old, exactly. Yeah, 10 years old. My sister was 12 years old. And this, the picture that I have of my sister and my mother, is from Berlin. I have a picture also of when I was 3 years old. Some picture, yeah. So then from Berlin, we went to Munich. From Munich, we went to Wasseralfingen. Then we were three years until 49. In 49, we moved.
In those 3 years, you were in the DP camp?
Camp, yeah.
What was the name of the DP camp?
Wasseralfingen. The name is the town, Wasseralfingen.
In Germany?
In Germany, yeah.
And where is the town near?
It's Germany. I visited several times there. No Jew remains there, but there's a city named Aalen nearby. They call it Wasseralfingen by Aalen. So the Aalen, there's still some Jews remain there.
And how was the situation in the DP camp?
It was very good.
What do you remember about being in the DP camp?
We had school, a Hebrew school, a Jewish school. We got food from the Americans and from the Sochnut and from the UNRWA, and I even was able to buy a bicycle, and it was very nice. And even there was a small mountain we used to winter to go down with. It was quite nice there.
Were there a lot of other children that were survivors as well?
Yeah, there was many. There was a big camp about 30,000 people or something.
Did they have a shul, or did you?
We have a shul. We had a cheder, and my mother sent me to the cheder, and my sister went to school, and after 2 months, the rabbi of the cheder called my mother and told her, take your son out and send him to school, because here it was a waste of time for him. The rabbi.
Do you remember the name of the rabbi?
No. He told my mother, take him out because he's too good for. So this was a funny thing, because then my mother sent me to to the school,
And who ran the school? It was obviously a Jewish school.
A Jewish Hebrew school. There were teachers from Israel also, from Palestine. Came and they taught us, we learned.
And Prof, by this time, did you know the fate of your father?
Yeah, of course, I didn't know the fate of our father already in 46, because there was, my mother, she wanted to remarry or something. So she went to survivors of Flossenberg, and there, in Flossenberg were all the 6 rabbis from Warsaw were in Flossenberg. They didn't kill the rabbis, the Germans. And so one of the rabbis, Rav Shapira, that became later the rabbi of Nuremberg, he gave her a letter that he knows that my father was killed in this camp. Yeah. So, and the funny thing is, when I was a postdoc, and I went in Washington at the NIH, I went to a butchery. There was a man there working there, and when I entered, he started to change color. I looked on him, and I started to look around. Maybe a black man come in, because maybe he was afraid. Maybe, but then he told me, "I know you, but you are too young." Then he told me that he was with my father in camp in Flossenberg, yeah.
And you resembled your father?
Yeah. He said, "I know you, but you are too young." So this is a story for.
And can I ask, from your family, from your mother's family and your father's family?
No, I don't know anyone.
Did anybody survive?
No, nobody survived.
On both sides?
On both sides, only about. My mother had 4 brothers and sisters. My father had two brothers and there were 2 brothers and 2 sisters. No one survived. Not the children of the one and all of them were killed. No one survived. Only my mother, my sister, and me. That's all. All the others. No one. I don't know the family at all. So this, which I know that in one of the people that wrote about our family, they said that my grandfather was Shmuel Wilchek. I said, no, it's Meir Wilchek, because I'm on his name. But this was in Yad Vashem somewhere, someone wrote. And some people that we know, we wrote to Yad Vashem to remember them. You see, this some of the people that my sister remembered them, and so here you see Stockhammer Shimshon.
Oh, so you filled out the forms at Yad Vashem?
Yeah, many forms for Zeidenberg. Avrum Eli was one brother of my mother, and this is Zeidenberg Rivka was my grandmother. So this, we filled out all the pages. Stockhammer Feige was the wife of Shimshon of Stockhammer. Stockhammer Rivka, she was born 1930, so she was a daughter of Stockhammer. Stockhammer Meir. You see, there was another Meir there because my grandfather died in 1927. So I'm the name of his, and Stockhammer wrote a name on him. It is Stockhammer Meir. So all Warsaw, yeah.
And Meir, can I just ask you, your time that you spent in the DP camp?
Yeah.
What are your memories of the DP camp? Was it difficult, or did you?
No, it was very easy life, and was very. We got food, and we got houses. They took the houses from Germans. And we lived in nice houses of Germans. because the Hitler built houses for the army people, and these houses were not occupied after the war, so this Wasseralfingen had many houses empty, so they put us in these houses, and it was a very nice camp. And we had social life there. We had music, and we had weddings. Yeah.
And UNRWA were helping.
Of course.
In those days, UNRWA were very. It was a different type of UNRWA.
It's a different UNRWA, because UNRWA there was with a double arrow, some double, and here UNRWA is another one.
And food-wise, you never went hungry, or?
No, never, because we got a lot of conserves and chocolate, and we got from America many conserves and everything they brought in. No, but there was no problem of food.
And there were shlichim from the...
There were shlichim from Aretz, and in 1948, when Israel was established, and the people could go to Israel, they took from Wasseralfingen many young people, boys and so on, and many of them were killed in the independent war. And we used to hear every time, this boy was killed, and this boy was killed. Yeah, because they didn't took families with small children, and so they took only young people to go to, and the minute they arrived, they put them in the army.
They were fighting the war of independence.
Yeah.
And Prof, when you mentioned with Menachem Begin that he took some of the children with him from the, did you ever meet Menachem Begin in those?
No.
Or did your mother meet him?
My mother, I think, met him because when he came to Osh, he gave a talk, and many Jews ran to hear him. So I think my mother was there, but I'm not sure.
And there your mother also taught you maths, and she taught you...
No, she didn't.
She didn't teach you...
I started my first class at 11, 1946.
But did she teach you anything when you were...
I used to say every morning, Ashrei Shubetecha. This which I used to say every morning. This which I know about by heart. But we had a minyan, the Jews in Osh and in Naukat, where we had a minyan, but there was not much food. Summer was okay because we had a lot of fruits. Winter was difficult. So this which.
And when you remember when the state was established in 48?
Yeah, we celebrated in Wasseralfingen, of course, with big celebrations and so. We're dancing in the streets and so.
And when you came to Israel, you came a year later in...
We came in 49, in August 8, 1949, we arrived to Israel. And we were sent to a Ma'abara in Rehovot.
Right, yeah, sure.
Since then I'm in Rehovot.
And can you tell us about the school? Because this is the most amazing story that they would only let you wear a kippah in the when you were studying.
I was wearing not a kippah, but that time there was not used to kippah. We used to wear a hat.
No kippah?
No kippah hat. Not a strimal, but a
cap.
A cap, yeah. Not a kippah. A kippah we started here. When I arrived here, I went with a cap, and the children were started laughing at me. So because I was used to have a cap. Yeah. The school was okay in Wasseralfingen, yeah. There was a teacher that didn't like me, okay, but because this was because he was sure at the time I'm funny of him or laughing of him because every time he gave a lecture, if I understand, I start to smile. So he was thinking that I'm smiling because. So when I arrived to Israel, and I went to Tarkemon, they put me in Kita Vav. I was 14 years old, but they put me in Kita Vav in the 6th grade. And whenever and our Rav Chaniel, was the the teacher at this school, he said, whenever you smile, I'm so happy because I saw that you understand. So this is the difference. The other one said that I'm laughing of him. and he was so happy that I said, the minute I see you smile, I knew that I succeeded. So this is some kind of story that as I told you, I also was involved in establishing the high school in Rehovot.
So you established the school because...
The high school, because after we finished the Tarkemoni, the girls went to in Tel Aviv, I forgot the name of the school, and the boys went to in Pardes Chana, in some Medrasha, and I didn't have money to go there because I was working helping. My mother got married to a man that was working to make rafim. How you say rafim? On the roof to put.
With roofs, with gutters.
Yeah, to put gutters, and I was helping him, and so on. But we didn't have money, so I couldn't go to her. So I went to the high school in Rehovot, and I met the principal of the school, and he told me that according to your grades I can accept you, but in our school you cannot sit with a kippah only in Tanakh lectures. With a kippah only in Tanakh lectures. I said I was wearing a cap all my life, and here in Israel I will not. So he said, these are the rules. So I told him, thank you, you established a religious high school in Rehovot. I went to Rav Chaniel, the principal of Tarkemoni. I told him the story, and so he told me, if you bring 10 children, I give you the kitchen of the Tarkemoni, and you can make the 9th grade. I went with my bicycle, which I brought from Germany. I went to my bicycle, I went to Ramle, to Rishon, to Gedera, and put announcement that a religious high school is being opening in Rehovot, and the registration is in August, this and this. And we had 11 children come. So we established the high school in Rehovot, the religious high school, the kitchen of the Tarkemoni.
And this was the first religious high school in
all the surroundings.
And you established it?
I was involved, but the teachers from Tarkemoni volunteered to teach us. And only the teacher for mathematics, we paid him. But I was the one that collected the money from the children. I was the one that was cleaning the floor, the tables every day. and we finished. And you know what happened? At the end of when we finished the high school, we had to make 7 examens, not 6, because this school was not recognized. To be recognized, we had to make a 7. So the 7, this was on chemistry. I chose chemistry. And interestingly, the principal from the high school, he was a chemist, and he came to examine us. And at the beginning he didn't recognize me, but then he asked me, according to the amount of nitrogen around the world, how much the world is existing. I said 5,714. So he looked at me and said, you again? He's asked me how much the world was less. I said 5,000. So he was very, but he gave me an A+, it's okay. But so this is some stories.
And then I think you applied to go into the postal service.
Oh yeah, but they didn't want to take me. So if I would go to the postal, I had already a girlfriend from the high school, and I decided to get after the army to get married with her. But I didn't have any profession. Before I went to the army, to the after the high school, I had 3 months free. I was working as a Barzilan, I don't know how you say it, in Solelu Bonnet. I was working construction, and I was thinking that after this I will work in construction. But then I don't know why, for some reasons I didn't go to this, and I wanted to work in the postal, and they didn't want to accept me because you need to protection, but I didn't have any protection, so they established Bar Ilan. So my mother told me, go to Bar Ilan. I went to Bar Ilan. I met the professor, the Hurgin. He was the head, American professor here, Rav Hurgin, yeah. And he heard the time my uncle was Stockholmer, and my father immediately he accepted me and gave me even food. I could get once a day some food from without paying. So I was in Bar Ilan. We were only 90 students in the first year. And then I started to work to deliver newspapers to make some money. And so this was so Schurgen took me to Engame, and he gave me a stipend and gave me food.
And you graduated the first class of BSc chemistry,
yeah,
in Bar Ilan
with Professor Sprecher. And I was the first paper published from Bar Ilan is my paper, together with Sprecher. Yeah. Professor Sprecher, yeah, he's a very religious fellow. He arrived at 21. He made his PhD in University of what's the name? No, down in all these protests in the United States. The University of Columbia.
Columbia.
Yeah, he was he was graduated from Columbia, and at 21 he came to Bar Ilan and started to teach us. We were older than he because I went to the army only when I was 19. Then 2.5 years I was 22, and he was.
So the students were older than your teacher, the professor. Wow.
Yeah, so we just celebrated him about 2-3 years ago, 85th birthday. Yeah.
Wow.
So this was just.
And then when you got your BSc,
when I got my BSc, I tried to go to get a master in Jerusalem or in Technion. Both places didn't want to accept me because Bar Ilan was not recognized. So I went to the industry, to Teva, to Mifalei Yam HaMelech, and they didn't. My grades were not good enough because in Bar Ilan you had to learn also Gemara. But for this I was enough for me to speak. Even though I had for chemistry and physics and mathematics I had an A. But on Gemara, this I only got my speak. So that's, I said, they made the average, and I was not good enough. So they didn't accept me. So someone, one of the teachers was making a PhD here in the university at Weizmann, and he told me that we need a laborant here, we need a technician here, please come and we will see. I came, they accepted me, but after a year, Kachalski, Ephraim decided that I have to make a master and a PhD because I made some chemistry and made very good results, and he was so happy about my work that he must go to continue because you are waste, he said, if you don't go. So he again sent me to Jerusalem with a letter of recommendation, and they didn't want to accept me again because the Bar Ilan is not recognized. At that time, the PhD were given at the Weizmann were given through the Hebrew University. The professors Bar Ilan were recognized by Hebrew University to take students for PhD. So he said, why do we need the Hebrew University? Let's establish a Medrasha at Weizmann. And they established the Feinberg Medrasha, and I was the first student from BA from Bar Ilan to do PhD. And here you have the picture of the first 7 graduates here. This picture, you see, we were 7.
The very first graduates at
the Medrasha at Feinberg Graduate School. So this is fun.
And today Weizmann is one of the top in the world.
Yeah. So this was, they didn't want to accept. He said, why do we need the Hebrew University? And he went to a Professor Gillis, mathematician, and both established, they went to this fellow named Feinberg, and they get money and established a graduate school, and I was the first student of this. So in every place I was the first graduate. And this is the 6th graduate.
That's amazing.
So then, and since then, since 1960, April 1960, March 20, 1960, I started to work in the Weizmann, and since then I'm the Weizmann. And they told me that told me that from the Weizmann I will not live this way, I will live only this way.
And you've been here ever since, and you have your room, your office here,
yeah. So.
And how did you meet with Ephraim Katzir?
He needed a technician. The student was a student of Ephraim Katzir, and they needed a technician. So he accepted me as a technician.
And you had a close connection with Professor Katzir?
I had very nice clothes. Yeah, and when his daughter died, I was sitting with him every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, study Eov. He decided he wants to learn Eov. 2 daughters died from a tragedy. So here's a picture of it. There you have myself, Katzir, you sit in the middle there, you see that in the picture, Katzir is sitting in the middle, there Michael Sela and myself. And here in the Katzir with all of his students, when he was 90, before he died, there down.
Yeah.
He sits there.
And when he was president, it must have been it must have been wonderful.
When he was a president, it was a problem. I had to ask the Rabbi Rav Kook what to do whenever he comes in, because according to the law, if a president comes in, you have to stand up. But what shall I do? I asked him, because we worked together. He came into the lab, so the rabbi told me that you should only tell a little bit, but it's written in his book, in Katzir's book. He has a book that he wrote about the letter of Rav Kook that told him that, because I didn't know what to do. I'm a religious man, and just you have to kvod anasim. And then ask him if I'm allowed to call him Ephraim, or to call him Adoni Anasi. So he said, you can call him Ephraim. Ephraim told me that I can't call him Ephraim, continue to call him Ephraim.
And he was a very modest person.
It was okay, yeah.
And Prof, can you tell us, because you made the most amazing discovery of Avidin and biotin.
This is not such a big. The biggest is the affinity chromatography.
Could you tell us a little bit of what it is? It's in biochemistry.
It's in biochemistry, and the one that I published the paper with him passed away Wednesday in San Diego, Pedro Cuatro Casas, and in his how will say the condor.
Like the hairspeed?
In the aspect, they mentioned the affinity chromatography and said that it's revolutionized the biochemistry and the biology in the world, and pity that we didn't get the Nobel.
It is a pity.
But this is because of politics.
But even what you did with Evidin and biotin, it's used in so many different medical procedures. It's saving people's lives.
But also all the proteins, all the drugs, all the drugs are purified by affinity chromatography.
And you were
the first. We were the first, and this was really came out by when I went to postdoc at NIH. I went to the lab of Chris Amphison, and he told me you can do what you want, but on an enzyme and nuclease. I told him, give me nuclease. He said, produce it. So I went to the people in the lab and asked them how to make this Everyone was working nuclease. I asked them how to make. They told me you make a column of 10 meters, a column with Cefadex or some compound, and you pass you are lucky that this enzyme is extracellular, so you take the how we call it, from the water, and you put on the column, and then you collect test tubes until you find the one that test tube the activity of nuclease, and then you have the nuclease. I said, I don't have 3 months time to do this. But I had no choice. So I started to do it, but then I said, if you have 3 months, I will go to vacation. I will go around to making a trip in the United States. So I went in the car, and after about 2 hours, I said, well, I'm stupid. This enzyme, nuclease, has an inhibitor. If I bind the inhibitor to the column, the enzyme will bind to it. And then only the enzyme, I will give it conditions that the enzyme recognizes the inhibitor, it will bind to it. And then I will wash out everything. Then I will change the condition, but the enzyme doesn't know the inhibitor. And then I will elute the enzyme pure. I went back to the lab immediately. We did the experiment together with Pedro Quattrocasas because he knew how to do the assay of the enzyme. I still didn't know because I didn't have enzyme, but I knew how. I'm a chemist. I knew how to prepare the column and so on, and we purified the nuclease, and after 3 days I had 100 milligrams of the nuclease, and then everyone in the lab used to come to me to ask for nuclease because I in place to use a 10-meter column, we use a pipette. We used a pipette to catch this. This pipette was enough for 25 milligrams of nuclease. So, and this was the first paper, but then we published it in PNAS, and Proceeding National Academy of Science. But then we were recommended several times on the Nobel, but some people. How you say? I don't want to say.
It's very political.
It was very political because there was one. The one that invented the column, not the affinity column, the Cefadex, was the name Jerker Porat, and somehow he get in a fight with another Swedish member, who was also a member of the Academy of Science. And this member, I have a letter, wrote to me, his name is Yerten, he wrote to me, Meir, your paper is my Bible, but as long as Porat is involved together with you, you will not get a Nobel, because I will be against it. And
he was on the committee?
Not the committee, everyone, after the committee it went to the Senate of the Karolinska, and he was against it. Because of Porat, so.
And then, Prof, can you just mention us, because I think it's fascinating what you did. I think it's an amazing, with Evidin and biotin, how did you know how to combine? And it's 2 different substances.
Oh, I started with affinity chromatography. It was known that biotin binds to Evidin. It was known because the opera singers used to drink.
It's from egg whites.
From egg whites. The opera singers used to drink eggs before singing, and then they get a disease named Wilson because of the eyes, and they start to look in the 20s. What happens? And they found out that the avidin, the egg white, which has this avidin, took away the biotin from this people, and so and they call it avidin because it's avid, it's strong binding.
And biotin is a vegetable derivative.
Biotin is a vitamin.
Yeah.
So they knew this, but no one was thinking to use it, and then I wrote the first paper on avidin biotin. I wrote it's a gift from God to use it, because it's the highest affinity which means the highest binding between two compounds. There's the 10 to the 15th, which is the highest affinity.
It's like a magnetic.
Yeah, you can put it here, one and here, and they will meet. It's 10 to the 15. So I wrote that this is a gift from God to use it. The referee didn't like it. He changed it to he said, right, it's a gift from nature, from Mother Nature. to change to Mother Nature, not God. So I said, okay, this is all the problem. so this was, and which I said, and we start to use this interaction for diagnostics, for delivery of drugs and so on.
For blood clotting, it's been used for many in diagnostics.
Yeah, diagnostic very much. Yeah. So this is and then we worked out the structure of the avidin protein. We did the X-ray of it. We did many studies, and this is the market for affinity tomography is 8 billion a year. 1926 was 8 billion. I saw it. The market for avidin biotin was only 2 billion. So. And I didn't take patents, because when I came after I came back to Israel, I got a letter from NIH telling me that I can take a patent on affinity chromosomes all over the world, but not on NIH, because it was done on the money of American citizens. So they allowed me to. So I gave the letter to the commercial, to YEDA, which is the commercial of the Weizmann Institute. And they sent it to two professors of the institute and decided that this is nonsense. And they didn't want to take a patent.
Such a pity.
So they didn't take a patent. So when I came up with the idea on avidin biotin, I decided not to take a patent, because they said again, they would say it's stupid or something like that. So I didn't have a patent. So many people become very rich on this, because there are many companies. On avidin biotin there are 70 companies. And affinity chromatography, there's everyone is using it. Every day so.
But it must give you a tremendous sense of not only accomplishment, but what you invented has touched the lives of millions of people all over the world.
Yeah. It's all the new drugs, the antibodies, all of them are purified by affinity chromatography. All the antibodies, everything is purified by the and again, if you took a column to which you bind the antibody, you can purify the antigens which are on the cell surfaces, many proteins. You can catch them and analyze them. And there are many people that thank me for this, because.
And Prof, can I just ask you, were you invited to many different universities to give lectures and to?
Yeah, I have 5. I gave up many. They asked me to get honorary doctors. I got one from Finland. I got.
This is honorary doctorate.
Honorary doctorate from Finland. Interesting, in the United States, I get only from one in Boston. I forgot his name, but I got many, and I was lecturing a lot. Yeah, was a time to ask me in Lut if I'm coming or going. But it's okay. It's no.
And Prof, when did you meet your wife?
Oh, my wife I met in Bar Ilan. She was also in the same group. And the girl that I was tried to marry when I was when I went to be a student, she didn't have patience to wait for till, so she left me. So then I met my wife. And the funny thing how I met her, I went. She failed in a chemistry examination, so I came to help her.
So, Prof, I think the most amazing, you have 2 daughters and a son.
Yeah.
And they went to the school that you established in Rehovot, to the religious school. And they graduated.
My son is a lawyer, yeah. And this is also because of me he's a lawyer. After he finished his high school, he decided to become a chemist. He got a very high grades in chemistry. So he went to Jerusalem to register. He registered and he went to a committee to meet. He went to the committee, and when he entered, there was Professor, what's his name? I forgot his name. He said, "Are you the son of Meir?" So he said, "Thank you, I'm not going to be the son of Meir." He left and went to the School of Lawyers. I want to be the son of. Yeah, so but he's become rich, not me.
And he was a lawyer, very successful lawyer.
Very successful.
And Prof, what was the name of the school that you established? What is it called today? It's still...
Today it's not the high school. At that time it was a religious high school, but today it's the one of the religious party of the how do they call it? They have now at my when I was, it was men and boys and girls were in the same. Today there's different girls. Separate. Eitanim or something. Yeah, I think it was Eitanim. Yeah, and separate now. It is.
So here you have a picture of on your 80th birthday.
Yeah. With my student, many pictures of my students together. They came to my celebration. Oh, I was, this, one man become very rich. He had a license of Virginia.
So he invited.
You know what he found? There's children are born many children are born with deficient of biotin, and they get some retardation. But if they give them biotin, and he learned from my old paper and he established a method to detect biotin in the birth of the blood of the children. So his name is Wolf, and he made a lot of money. And when I went to Virginia and I saw the car, I made a picture. He started to run to me. "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm working by Meir Wilchek." Oh, he kissed me. And because every child is paying money, enough at $5. And can you imagine if many children born in America and they're paying for this test?
And Prof, you have a picture from you weren't a you didn't qualify as a medical doctor, but you were included in there's a picture in America of
yeah, but I'm a member of the National American Medical Society.
And this is the it's a big honor. And Prof, can I ask you, where are you in the picture?
Which picture?
In the middle.
All the pictures. All the pictures, each picture here. All the pictures is here with Katsira I am. You see with every picture is
with the medical.
The medical I'm here.
So it's a big honor to be together with all the
this PhD MDs from but many of them already died. Yeah.
And there's your family. There's your daughters and your sons.
These are my
grandchildren.
Grandchildren. She's here. She was there. My grandson. He's in Sayed Givati.
It's amazing, Prof.
And this is the picture that is there, the same picture, you see.
So, Prof, if I can ask you, what message do you give to your grandchildren and your children and to the future generations? You've witnessed so much and you've been through so much, and there've been miracles in your life, incredible miracles, and you've achieved unbelievable what you've achieved.
But I don't feel it. I'm taking my children to study, but all of them studied, so.
But what message do you give to the future generations?
Even though my grandson is married to an American girl, all my family are in Israel. No one left Israel, and because there was no. I don't believe that a Jew can live abroad without problems. Therefore, I teach them to be devoted to this country, like we did. So. And to study. This is, I think, the most important thing, is to study, to be if you study, you can contribute something to the society, to the world. And
but Prof, you have touched so many lives all over the world. You've touched thousands and thousands.
No, I don't think so. I know that, but no one is considering this.
Well, whoever sees this will know, and they will consider.
But what did Mark say to me?
That I have to meet you. He said, well, I want to just, Prof, I want to thank you so much. There are no words to express my appreciation to you. I think you are somebody we should all strive to emulate. Not only are you so modest, but what your inventions have changed people's lives, and you've saved lives.
Many.
And if you save one life, it's as if you've saved from Sanhedrin. If you save one life, you've saved the world. So you've saved many thousands and thousands of people all over the world.
I hope so, but who knows? I know that in Italy, the Abedin Bayit, and they're using brain cancer in Italy. I know there's some people from Italy and that they come to Israel to teach in Ichilov, to teach them how to use this Abedin Bayit for the treatment of.
It's amazing. But just thinking back, that mother that said to her son, you don't want to land up like him, and look what. Look how, if she would be watching this, she would not believe. It was prophetic. Who would have known that you become, and what you achieved, and what you invented, and it's just unbelievable. It's the miracles.
You know the story about the rabbi that came to give a lecture in the shul, and the gabbai introduced him and said, "This man is so famous, so good, so funny, so good." So he said, "Don't forget to say I'm humble."
Well, you are, I think, one of the most humble people I've ever met, really. But it's true. But if I could just ask, if you could give a bracha to all of us, and because you're a survivor, and not only are you a survivor, you triumph of survival. From being a survivor, you've achieved so much. It's incredible.
When I got the Wolf Prize, I said that I am presenting the 1.5 million children, Jewish children, that were killed during the Holocaust, that they could make maybe much more than I did. This which I told them. Sure. That because 1.5 million children. That, and I went to Germany many years ago, and I saw that they accept many Russian Jews. Many Russian Jews came in. I asked them, why do you take them in? Why not you send them to Israel? He said, so he said that we have half a million of Turks and Arabs. But can you tell me how many Arabs or Turks get Nobel Prize and how many Jews? So they want the Russian Jews to come. So you see the German, but today they're saying that, can you imagine? And
look what we lost.
And I met a professor from Spain, and I asked him why, what is. I said, you see what happened? We killed 6 million Jews in Europe, and what we get now? Yeah. These Arabs and the Arabs, the Turks, and so on. So what can we do? This is the pity of.
And through all your life, you've always kept your emunah?
Yeah, but
well, Prof, it's been such an honor and a privilege to be with you, and I'm so grateful. And you should just have mazel and bracha and continue. And
I cannot continue. I'm 90.
And to be an inspiration. You are an inspiration to all of us.
Oh, I'm 90 already. It's
Cain and Horror.
So it's not.
No.
You see my picture there. I was there in the. When I was in Miluim. I was in the gate of this. Of Lebanon, the Shar Fatma. I was the commander of Shar Fatma. So this is.
Wow. It's amazing. Prof, I really want to thank you, and it's been such an honor to be here in the Glassman Institute. And I want to just.
Yeah, okay.
I'm extremely grateful to you. And you should just be well and gesund. And maybe stream. This is the book from Ephraim Katzir.
Yeah. Your Excellency, I have to ask whether.
And what does he write?
He said that I asked the rabbi to call him Your Excellency every time he comes in place of to call him Ephraim.
And he writes it in the book?
Yeah.
And this is his book, and Ephraim Katzir. Wow. Prof, can I ask you, have you ever done an interview like what we did today with a video?
I tried the academy to interview with someone from the academy should interview me, but I never agreed to do this. So
I'm so grateful that you've allowed me to do it today.
Because I don't really have some.
Prof, you are so modest, and I'm so grateful to you. And it's so important what we did today. Thank you very much.